Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. Today is January 2nd, 2021. Happy New Year, everybody. Starting a brand new year. Hopefully, it doesn't suck like 2020 did. You know what I mean? uh, so make
Yeah,
sure
it
you
was bad.
It was. It was. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click on the bell to get the notifications. You want to see more of these videos coming out. Today we have Derek. Derek went to the Agape Boys Ranch from 2005 to 2007, and he's going to share his story today. So, Derek, the floor is yours, my friend. Take it away.
Um, all right. So, like I said before, I actually probably deserve to go to Agape. I was a terrible child. I was horrible. Like I just never listened. So before Agape, I actually got sent somewhere else. I got sent to a program called it's an Adirondack nature program, and basically we just like hiked around the Adirondack mountains for a month, and that was terrible. It was during the winter, so that was pretty bad. But um, I was basically just getting arrested a lot, getting it early, like every month. I was getting suspended for something, not showing up, getting into a fight, bringing weapons to school. So my parents just like literally like they didn't really know what to do with me. They weren't ready for a child like me. I had a brother and sister, and they were like really good kids, and I was just like off the wall. But so yeah, I got kidnapped in the middle of the night by like two club bouncers, like these guys that were like steroid heads, and
That
I
seems
was
to be
15.
that
They came and
seems
picked me up.
yeah, that seems to be the story that every Agape guy has. These bouncer, steroid looking guys taking us in the middle of the night. Just one thing I can say about Agape, they're consistent.
Yeah,
Keep going.
I swear. Yeah, I swear my parents found these guys like outside of a club or something. I don't even think that they were like, certified to be doing this stuff. I think that they just found them somewhere and offered them money to take their kid. But yeah, that's their MO. Like I know a lot of the other people they got kidnapped in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
So I know some of the other stories. They got kidnapped and they got a airplane ride. I drove from Connecticut to Missouri.
Wow.
So that was terrible because
Yeah.
it was like a 20 something hour. Yeah. Yeah, it was with two guys I don't even know. I'm 15 years old. I don't even know these guys. And my parents just stick me in a car with these guys. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, but all right. So I get to Agape and, you're driving up, you see, well, you've heard, you're driving up, you see the ranch, you see the gates.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, I thought I was going to like other program where they sent me before, like, hiking around in the woods with a backpack on, sleeping in the middle of nowhere. And I just knew this was going to be a different ride. Like it looks like you ever see the documentaries of the cults and stuff like that, like, in the middle of nowhere, and they,
Oh yeah.
they do like the suicide. Yeah. Like, the suicide packs, and it's like, I think it was Jonestown or something where, they all killed themselves.
Yeah. Yep.
It was like
Jonestown.
something like this, like in the middle of, yeah, it was like in the middle of freaking nowhere. It's just all like trees and land. You don't even see other houses or nothing. It's just crazy to be 15 years old and to drive up to that. You know,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
A,
But
a,
so I,
a lot of those places tend to do that on purpose. Uh, having their compound out in the middle of nowhere. That way, first of all, you have no
yeah, you
idea
can't
where you
run.
are, so you probably won't decide to run because you're going to be lost. And second of all, if they had neighbors and then there was abuse going on, the neighbors are going to say
Oh
something.
yeah,
So that's the perfect thing for a compound, even for the Baptists, independent fundamental Baptist compounds, is to have them out in the middle of nowhere, isolated. That's their MO, man. That's what they do. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
well, I think the only thing worse would be a Catholic compound for boys, because you know
Yeah.
you know the MO with the Catholics. So
Oh, yeah.
I think we got it a little bit easier by a Baptist. So
Yeah.
but anyways, yeah, so I arrived and the first person I met was Brian Clemenson, who is like a huge tool. Like he is like he's just a tool. There's no other way to describe this guy. Like it either he was dropped on his head when he was a kid or whatever. I don't know. He's just like he's so into this stuff. Like it's like, I guess he was just a failure at everything else and he was just like, oh well, I'm gonna just go beat up some kids for a living, So
sounds like it.
Yeah, so I my first introduction there was I got my military haircut. And my dad actually flew out there, which I was thinking in my head at the time, like, if he's taking a plane ride, why couldn't I just catch a ride with him? I really had to get kidnapped and drive 20 hours to this place in the middle of nowhere. But I guess that was just to just one more step of the screw you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I get to watch my dad leave and I'm staying there, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even understand what the point was, to fly him out there. But I talked to him for a little bit. And of course, I was telling him, oh, I'll never do what I'm doing again. And if you just take me home, that'll be it. I swear to God, I'll be good.
Yeah.
Those last minute, trying to get in, manipulation. So, he didn't really say much. He was just like, nah, you're stuck here. We've been through this so many times. It's just too much. And he took off. So, I mean, I swear Brother Brian was in the other room just laughing, like, because he's just a sick dude. But so then he leaves. I get put in my oranges, shoes with no tongues in them, no laces.
Oh, the Agapes. Yeah, the Agapes.
Yeah, the new Agapes. Yeah, those things. Which I don't understand. Like, they put you in those things, to not run, so you don't run, but then they work you out for like freaking 2 weeks straight in those shoes, and they make you run. So it's like, you don't want us to run, but you're training us to run if we really need to. They literally make us run all day and work out, and it's like, you're just building up our endurance, so we could run.
We can run,
but yeah. And then they tell us not to run. But yeah, I worked out for I was in orientation for like a week or a week and a half, like forever, because I was smoking and drinking and I was not ready to be worked out like that. I was a couple years of smoking and drinking, and when I got there, it was just a shock. But you get all that shit out of your system. And so I got my burgundies and, I really don't remember the color schemes, but I know it was like oranges. I think, yellows. Oh yeah, I got my yellows next. Your buddy system. You're stuck with like a Mr. Do-Right, stick up his butt. And you have to be like 2 feet away from this guy at all times. If you're not 2 feet away, they tell them that you're allowed, like your buddy's allowed to tackle you. And if they tackle you, they get like a free steak. So, these guys are like foaming at the mouth, just waiting for you to like bust steak dinner or something. So my buddy was like he was an asshole, really. He, push-ups and like, I feel like, he was just waiting to get a buddy so he could like, have a little power trip or something. So, that lasted for maybe like a half a month or something, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then I got my burgundies, which, I realized right away that, there was something wrong with this program, because it's like, I mean, you can't talk to anybody. You're not allowed to like talk to your neighbors. You're not allowed to talk when, you have to look down when you're eating. You have to keep your hands on the table. Like, it's just a bunch of really like weird stuff that it makes you think like, if this is a church place, like why are they so I mean, I was taught when I was a kid, like church is like, about forgiving and helping your neighbors
Yeah.
and what I'm saying, like all those like stuff that's in the Bible. And this place was just the complete opposite. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, like I swear Jesus was out in the middle of nowhere just beating kids up because that's what they believe, I guess. Like they think like Jesus is about like beating people, you know what I'm saying, and shoving the Bible down their throat. So it's like, but they swear they had the ticket. Like, of course, like with every religion, they swear like theirs is the right one. And it's just weird like how they think. It's just such a cult like mindset, and
Yeah.
it's real shocking. But so I was there 2 years, the longest 2 years, and I was bad in there. I never went up the ranks. I stayed at Burgundy. I they have like badges and stuff like corporal badge and like stuff like that. I stayed at like the complete minimum. I never They have like these incentive stuff, like you get a milkshake if like that buddy program thing that I was telling you about when I first got in.
Yeah.
I never had a buddy. They wouldn't put a buddy with me because I was always just getting in trouble. I always got in trouble. I would get sent to the wall. Oh, I mean, I'm sure you probably heard like the wall. You get in trouble, you have to stand on the wall. You have to eat on the wall. Like you could be there for like 2-3 days. I know this one kid. I forgot his name, but he was just a bad little kid.
Just to let you know, when it comes to names, first name only. Okay.
Nah, I don't think.
Well, I'm saying if you
Yeah, no, I'm not
if you
gonna
know,
even say.
if you know the names, it's either the first name or just the last name. So that for legal purposes.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I got you. But he was like this little kid, like a little kid that was like, he was annoying. Like the day he came in, he was just crying. He would scream at you. It was just like annoying to have him around. And they put him on the wall for it had to be like a month that they just had this from morning to time you woke up. This kid just stood on the wall, ate on the wall, went down to school, stood up in school, did his home, like even accredited. Like that's another story. And they literally just treated this kid like he was like a barn animal. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like no type of discretion or any type of, they just were just assholes. And it's like, the kid obviously had mental problems. Like he was either like bipolar or something, something was wrong with this kid. And their answer was to just, we're going to just beat you until you listen. You know what I'm saying? Like we're going to just break you down. They would take him off the wall. They would bring him up into the, they would restrain him because, he would be looking off the wall. You had to stare at the wall, like stupid stuff like that. And they would like restrain. The kid was like maybe 80 pounds, 70 pounds. And they would take like, by the way, all the stuff over there were like 350, 400 pound, fat, disgusting looking fucking beings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got these 350 pound Baptist fucks bringing up this little 70-pound kid and like restraining him, like throwing him around, beating him. He would come back out. He would have bruises on his face, and then they would put him on the wall again. So it's like, whatever. Wow. So, so we would just, keep our head down, and I would just keep my head down and try to, do my time. Basically, It was like a jail mentality, just
stay under the radar
until, what I'm saying? Like, just, don't get on anybody's bad side and just, don't get on anybody's staff's bad side and just count your days until you get to go home. Which when I first got there, I thought I was going home in like 6 months because my dad was like, oh, I'm gonna, just try to see how this works. 6 months, maybe. I ended up being there 2 years.
Ugh.
So,
what the thing is, what I've noticed about Agape is, usually, let's say if you take a kid to an accredited state-run home, When the kid gets there,
Yeah.
they will put him over there. They will evaluate him, find out what's wrong with him, if he has any mental conditions or whatever. Agape, they throw you in to this environment with hundreds of guys, okay? All of them have different personalities, different problems. And that mix, that just breeds disaster right there. Because you have no idea the guy sleeping next to you, what he has wrong with him, or if he has anger issues, or if he just likes to, just to be trouble. You know what I mean? So it's just a breeding ground for.
Which is melting pot. Yeah, it's one big melting pot of just people ready to blow. You know what I'm saying? Because you're already in a shitty situation, and you have 100+ kids in there, or 80 kids in there, and some of them are bound to have mental problems.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, you stick them all together, they're already at their boiling point, and these, they treat them exactly the same, like they're just, like they're just animals. Everybody gets the same treatment.
Yep.
And state-run schools, they can't do that because, they're under, threat of being sued. Or, they have guidelines to follow from the state.
Yeah,
they can't
they'll get shut down. Yep.
Yeah. They'll get shut down. Yeah, exactly. So Agape, which I'm surprised that they haven't been sued, or I was talking to one of my friends that went there with me, and I was telling them we should do a class action lawsuit and have them have to pay everybody that they mistreated and get them shut down, having them pay, $5 million out of pocket for, but yeah, I'm surprised they haven't got a lawsuit, or, I know they can get shut down, but they have to do something like really crazy, but they're private owned. So it would have to be something like, something ridiculous shut down, but
or maybe
they would just move. They would just move in up under another name.
Yeah.
Which tells you right there that there's something wrong going on behind you. You know what I'm saying? Like if that's their MO, like when something happens or a sign not to stay and rebuild and keep the same name, but to switch places, different states under different names, there's something a little wrong going on. You know what I'm saying? Like that's usually not what businesses do when they, they moved to a couple different states. They were in California. They were in Washington under a different name. Now they're in Missouri. So, I mean, usually it's not a good sign when a business is moving around. They're moving from something, but they're running from something. But
oh yeah,
that's usually what happens. I had a terrible time because I was not like going to do right.
Okay.
I did not listen. I did not want to be like one of those Bible thumping robots that just literally did whatever staff said.
Yeah.
I didn't want to have a red shirt. Red shirts were like the next step up after the after being a student, like a red like you're like middle of staff, like a student staff.
Okay.
And I never wanted to be red shirt. I never wanted to. I felt like that was my fuck you to the staff, like just not going along and not trying to exceed in the program. You don't even want one of those kids. I was never like that anyways. I was never like, followed rules. That's why I get sent there, I guess. But I never followed rules. I always had a problem with authority. And it just looks so stupid to me. Like, they get these red shirts and then they think that they're like, like, bro, you're still stuck here in the same program as me. You're still eating the same shitty food. You're still, sleeping in the bunks downstairs, which, by the way, they have like 18, 19, 20-year-old kids sleeping with like 13, 14-year-old kids in the same bunks, in the same dorm. And like you said, you don't know what's going on in these freaking kids' minds and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just weird. It's just weird. You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand, like, because in jail, like, you sleep all in the same bunks and everything like that. But, everybody's over 18. Everybody's, 20 years old. You could fend for yourself and stuff like that. this place they're putting like 12-year-olds in you know the same sleeping grounds as 20-year-olds or 19-year-olds who just got their red shirts, and they could walk around at night, and they could go out and get food, and they can go and get this stuff, and you know what I'm saying? It's a really weird vibe in that place. You know, it's almost like, I don't know.
And the thing is,
it's just weird. It's a really weird place. It's a weird setting.
You got all those kids over there, and I'm not saying it happened, or maybe it happened a couple of times, but you got all those kids. You got sexual tension because there's no women, no girls there. You know, you can't jerk off. You know, so what happens when you're 18, 19, like you said, and there's these 12-year-old kids? You know, you have no idea the mindset of these guys. You know what I mean? So it's just a breeding ground.
Well, I mean, I heard of like stories, like other people telling stories about that stuff, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's true though. Like you're gonna just have like, you know, you're just gonna have bad situations where it could easily be avoided,
Sure.
but obviously the staff don't care that much. If you know what I'm saying, like they're trying to save money and just throw everybody in the same bunks. You know what I'm saying? Like they could have easily put, you know, 18 and up in a different dorm, 15 to 17 in one dorm, and 12. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I sure do.
They could have easily done that. They had enough property. They had enough property where, and they had enough buildings. You know what I'm saying? They could have turned one into another, you know, dorm building, but no, you know, they want to save money. I guess, you know,
more money for themselves.
I get exactly, which is the church's MO anyways. You know what I'm saying? Like get as much money from the public, and then you see the pastor riding around in a brand new Cadillac. You know, like it's like that's always like the shit with the church. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
you know, take offerings, get money. The Pope, like living, like the Pope is like one of like the richest people in the world, and it's like, you know, how is he so rich? You know what I'm saying? Is because he's taking money from everybody. He's freaking taking charity.
That's right.
To them. And by the way,
yeah,
if my father and stuff is paying like 60 grand or 70 grand a year, each person's parents is paying like that much. They have enough money where they could like make it very easy to not let some of the shit go on that goes on there, and they just don't. They rather just keep it all for themselves. Screw the kids, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I was actually looking up Agape like recently, and it looks really different now. It looks like a nice place, I guess, on the outside. I basically what they did, they just polished an old turd, but it looks nice. So
yeah.
I guess they got to keep up with the times and stuff because, you know, the internet now and all that stuff. I guess in order to trap more parents into sending their kids there, you know, they're fishing. They're making it look real nice.
Oh yeah. Plus,
By the way, when I got there.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What happened?
I said, and like you talk about polishing the old turd, you know, they update their website. You know, you got the website where you got the kids with the big old smiles on their face, petting the horses, and
oh,
you know, it's
yeah.
just like, oh, what a what a facade. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So when I got there too, Brian Clemison was like, he was selling it like, you know, I'm saying like he must have been a salesperson in his past life or something, because he sold that shit. I was almost like, yeah, leave me here. You know, it was crazy. He was like, oh, we got football, we got sing ring set up, we got this, we got that, we got movie theater. You know what I'm saying? We played movies. As soon as my father left and I walked in, I think I asked him even. I was like, oh, can you show me where the boxing ring is or something? Because he does a tour. He does like a little tour or something. He walks you around and stuff. And he kind of like looked at me like, man, shut up. You know, you're getting a tour and you're leaving. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going into your oranges. There's no boxing or football for you. And there was no football. We never played football. I never played football. But he was like saying these things, and I was like, you know, halfway through, I was like thinking of all the things that he said that there was, and there was none of that. It was just he straight lied to my father's face, you know, like telling him all these good amenities and stuff like that. And the showers were basically like run down. Like your shower, you would get like 30 or a minute or 2 minutes to get in and take a shower, and they were basically just curtains hung up and like sheetrock. It was almost like sheetrock there. Like the shit was all moldy. It was disgusting. Honestly, jail showers were better. Like that's how bad these showers were. And it was like rugs, so you would get out and you would step onto a rug. It would be all wet. It would be wet from the person that just got out before you. Nasty smelling, moldy, disgusting. You would get athlete's feet. It was bad. It was just a bad place. That's why I'm just saying, because you know it looks so good now the way that they did it up. You know, they got it looks like marble tables like for the kids to sit at. They got pictures of all these kids smiling, high-fiving and stuff, and it's like, you know, to be a fly on the wall, it must be funny because, you know, once they shut the cameras off, I almost feel like there's a staff member behind the kids like, yeah, you know, high five right now, you know, when we turn the cameras on. If not, you know, we're going to beat the shit out of you. And then, you know, the kids are like, you know, oh, okay. You know? So,
yeah, that's pretty much what they do. Yeah.
And then when they turn the cameras off, it is. You know, it is.
Yeah.
You know, when they turn the cameras off, it goes right back to, they had this table called the no talking table. You would get like this little wristband on your wrist. It was like a little furry wristband, and you would sit on that table. You had to like put your hands flat on the table. You had to look down. If you looked off the table, like they would literally let everybody else have free time, and they would be playing and foosball. And free time basically is you're in your lunch, like the dining room. You're in your dining room, and there's like basically 2 foosball tables. And that's free time. Like people were fighting over foosball tables. You know what I'm saying? Like you weren't allowed to home. All the doors are maglocked, but that's free time to them. Like, you know, you get half an hour of, you know, I don't even know, walk around and enjoy the scenery. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But the no talking table, you have to keep your hands flat on the table and you have to keep your head down like this. And if they caught you looking off the table, because all these other kids are like, you know, playing foosball right in front of you, they got like 12, 13-year-olds on the table. They obviously have ADHD. There's something wrong with them. You know, they have the attention deficit disorder or something. They're looking off the table and they're like, you know, they're like restraining these kids, freaking giving them push-ups till they can't like even like hold themselves up anymore. And it's like they're 13 years old. What do you expect? Like, they're not going to sit there for 3-4 days straight and keep their hands flat and look down on the table when there's kids playing in front of them. You know, there's kids eating and stuff like that, you know, all this stuff. And they make them sit on the table. I mean, I was on no talking table too. That was like, I have ADHD. Like I have it diagnosed since I was a little kid. So
yeah,
that was hard for me too.
Oh, let me ask you something. Real quick.
Sitting on that table was like,
Let me ask you something. You said you had ADHD, right?
yeah, correct.
Did they took away your medication, right, when you got there?
Oh, I was long off my medication anyways. I didn't want to take it anyways. Like
Okay.
I was like a badass kid. So my parents would try to get me to take the medication. I think it was it wasn't Adderall. It was something else. It was a medication for ADHD. I think it was Ritalin. I know. Oh yeah, not Adderall. That's stupid. It wasn't Ritalin. It was something else. It was like a generic version of Ritalin.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
I forgot the name. It was something.
all right. Well, the reason why I'm asking is because Agape claims to use natural remedies to help with these conditions.
You know what a natural remedy is in Agape? A freaking headlock and a power bomb. That's their medication. That's natural medication to Agape.
Right.
They put you in a headlock and then Brian comes and slams you with an elbow to the freaking back of the head. That's
the
Jurassic elbow. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Freaking that's version of medicine. I'm assuming you heard of Jurassic Elbow, so
Yes, I have. Yes, I have.
yeah, which goes to show like dumb the guy is. Like he has that's his copyrighted elbow. Like you know what I'm saying? Like I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't have like, you know, copyright on that shit, you know? He's a fool. Like he's just an idiot. Like he thought he was so cool. Like he thought he would. It's like, you know, you're bullying 12 and 13-year-old kids, and you're like 30 something years old, 40 years old. Like how in your head, like how does that make you feel like, you know, you're something or anything at all? Like you should feel like the lowest kind of scum. Like you should feel like such a piece of shit.
It's a power.
But nah, he got
power
like
trip.
kicks out of it. Like
it's a power trip. That's what it is.
But it's one thing to power trip, and you're power tripping on people your own age and your own size. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing to get like that feeling. Like it's another thing to do it to like a 50 or 60 pound, 70 pound, you know, underfed 12-year-old that you guys, you know, mistreat. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's not. You know, it's one thing to do it to somebody your size. You know what I'm saying? It's another thing to do it to like, you know, somebody 3 times, you know, or 3 times less your age. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous how he thinks that like he's just like he swore he was the man. He thought he was good in basketball. He was like 400 pounds. Like I'm exaggerating, but he was like 250. Like he had a gut. He was short. He swore he was so good in basketball. Any sport was good in. He played football. I'm sure he had trophies for it in his head, probably freaking participation trophies or something, you know. But it's he thought he was like God. Honestly, he thought he was God. You know, which is crazy because, you know, the way they believe, you know, there's only one God, but it's 3, the Holy Trinity and whatever. It's crazy that, you know, he thought that he was without sin or whatever. You know, everybody else was just a troubled teen who needed to get beat by Brian Clemenson and the you know, the Okie Dokie bunch, his little gremlin.
Right.
Yeah,
Okie bunch.
His little henchmen. I swear, it was just stupid. It was stupid the way they like, you know, whatever.
That's not rehabilitation though. You know, the whole point of going to Agape
It's not.
was to be rehabilitated, so to speak, if you're a troubled teen or if you're in, you know, problems, and they use God and the Bible and nurturing and natural remedies to get all this. All they end up doing is, you know, underfeeding you, demeaning you, throwing you on the ground, you know, beating the shit out of you. That's not rehabilitation.
Oh yeah,
that's abuse.
I was worse when I left. Yeah, it is. I was worse when I left than when I got there. I like when I was leaving. I was like, oh man, like they don't even know what they're, you know, getting into by me going home. Like my parents, they didn't even know. Like I had so much resentment and anger. And now I was 18. But then when I got home, you know, it was another shock because I didn't know, because you can't really have you get phone calls like once every like, I don't even remember what it was, but it was like 10 or 15 minute phone calls like every month or something, or every 2 weeks or something. But nobody told me my parents split up. So when I got home, like it was like another shock. But I mean, that's not really Agape. But it's like, you know, one FU after another in my life. So it's just been hard, but you know, it's whatever. When I was in Agape, my grandfather died, and like that was like really like that shit set me off. And they woke me up in the middle of the night. Brian Clemenson, he woke me up in the middle of the night and he told me, "Oh, you're going home." And I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What? Like I'm going home?" I was so excited. Like I was like, "Oh God, I'm finally getting out of here." And like he just left it like that, like, oh, you're going home. And like he could tell I was so excited. I jumped out of bed, I got dressed, I was packing up all my stuff. And he was like, oh no, you're coming back. Your grandfather's dead. Like that's how he said it. Like, you know? And yeah, so like I just felt like all the air like out of my lungs, just like I felt like I got punched by Mike Tyson. Like my stomach just like folded in half, and I was, you know, it was just a bad trip home. I got home and I went to his funeral. I stayed for like I think a couple days or a day, and then they sent me back over there. And when I got back, it was just like I don't even know
That guy's
how
got
to explain
that
it. Like
Brian.
it was just
That Brian's got no
feeling
beds,
of the.
Yeah, that Brian guy's got no bedside manner, man. Oh yeah, tough break, kid. You know, your grandfather's dead.
Yeah,
you're going home.
Yeah, like he told me like if like, you know, like he was telling his son like they didn't have his toy in the store. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh yeah, I went to Walmart, didn't have it. You know, like, oh yeah, you're going home. Yeah, your grandfather died. Have fun on the plane. You know, like it's so stupid. Like, but that's just another little example of Brian Clemenson's you know, faith.
Yeah.
His faith in Jesus. You know, just torturing kids. I still think that there's a section in the Bible that, you know, was lost a long time ago about torturing kids that only Brian found, you know, because apparently his theory is, you know, beat them, torture them, mistreat them, and then they'll love the Lord. So yeah, that's his MO, you know.
He must be reading a different version.
By the way, all the staff there,
go ahead. All the staff there?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Agape version written by him and all the staff, like you would think like out of like, you know, 30, 40 staff members, there would be one that would be like, you know, you guys aren't doing this right, you know, and be a whistleblower, you know, be something good for the kids, you know what I'm saying? Like help the kids, you know, like do something to make it a program. Nope. All of these limp-wristed, fat pieces of shit just followed right behind Brian's like his actions and stuff. Like it was just like they were all his little drones. They acted exactly the same. They would all yell at the kids for nothing. You would ask a question and they would just yell at you. They literally followed by his example, which is just crazy. Like they all had no brains. They were just like little pup that they had to wipe their face off before they ate dinner.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like,
and the thing is, if Brian ever came to a screeching halt, all those guys would go, their heads would go right up his ass. You know?
You ever seen a Human Centipede?
Yeah.
You ever seen Human Centipede? That's what it would look like. It would look
like
Human
Centipede.
That's what it would look like. It would look like them all with just their arms, like they wouldn't know what to do. They wouldn't know what to do if you know, whatever. But then you would have like go to church. I think on Sunday, on Wednesday we would have a church night. So it was like, you know, we was going to church 3-4 times a week on special occasions like Christmas and stuff. You would have church. Like that was our present. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, Christmas morning, you know, you're 13 years old. Wake up, Merry Christmas, go to church. It's like nobody wants to go to church for Christmas. Like not a 12-year-old, not a 13-year-old. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like nobody wants that. But yeah, so we would be in church and you know how the Baptists preach, you know, like they get that. They call it like the fire preaching or something.
Fire and brimstone.
They think they were like such like, you know.
Yeah.
Fire and brimstone preaching. Oh, you gotta get to the Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like that. Like it's so stupid. Like listen to a bunch of kids. They don't even know like, you know, what they want to do in life and stuff like that. And they're like going so crazy with the preaching. And it's like, most of us, I mean, I fell asleep in church a lot. Like, I didn't really pay attention. I didn't want nothing to do with it. Like, it just got, after 2 years, it just gets to the point where it's not, all the sermons sound like the same. They're preaching about the same stuff, about how bad of kids we are and we need to change. And by the way, like, all the preachers that preached there, they were like the worst kids, gang life, all this stuff, doing this and now they're like, pearly white, clean, Christian, Bible thumping, living for the Lord. It's like,
yeah.
Honestly, I think it was just a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, it's a crock of shit.
Yeah.
They just want to, it's like a marketing tool. They want to like feel like they're associating with us. Like, yeah, I was one of you guys and, I was in a gang, and it's like a, trying to reach out to the kids type of tool, and now they're just living for the Lord, and we got to cross over to the, the pearly gates and stuff like that. And it's just so stupid.
Yeah.
And, there was one, huh?
No, go ahead.
There was one staff member there, brother Nanjin. His name was Nanjin. He was like the leader of a gang. Like, I think he was like leader of like MS-13 or something. He said he was like the leader, and he had all these people behind him and all this stuff. Like, he was like 4 foot tall. He was like 4 feet tall and maybe weighed 120 pounds. He looked like Kim Jong-un. He looked like him. He looked like the North Korea. I swear to God, did his hair the same.
Yeah.
Did everything the same. And he was like so short, so tiny, but he was like the toughest one there.
Yeah.
But like they would never use him. They would never use him for like the restraints because like, even the 12-year-olds would be able to get it over on him. You know what I'm saying? Like, they would put him in a headlock. So they wouldn't be able to use him for restraints or anything. They just basically used him for, whatever, feeding people, serving food and stuff like that or whatever, and preaching. He was a little guy.
So somebody needs to let these guys know. I don't know if you're familiar with Julio, if Julio was there at the time. But
not by first name.
No?
If I saw him, I would know.
Okay. Well, he claimed to be ex-La MA. And of course you got this guy who claims, MS-13 whatever. There are no ex-gang members, sorry to say. You're either a gang member.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're either a gang member or you're a dead gang member. One of the two. There is no ex. You can't get out of those gangs. So,
or there's one more, or you're on the run. Like, but once they find you, they're gonna kill you.
Right,
you know
but you're still part of the gang. Like, you're still part of the gang.
Yeah, but you're still in the gang. You're just on the run. You're trying to outrun them or something.
Exactly.
There's no, I just told the gang, I don't do this no more. Especially being the leader. If he said he said he was the leader, you're not getting away from that shit and just being like, I'm gonna go preach the Bible to kids now. They're not having that. They don't care about that shit.
Nope.
You're the leader. You're stuck in that shit.
That's right.
But
blood in, blood out.
It was just all like. It's just a crock of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Especially the stories he would tell, he would say like he was shooting people and he was doing this and he was doing that. Bro, like, first of all, if you was a gangster and you was shooting people like that, you're not preaching it to a bunch of Baptist people, out on the stage in front of 150 plus people, plus the students and stuff like that. You're not out there promoting that stuff. That's never leaving your lips. You never, the staff members that preached about that type of stuff, I was doing this and I was doing, most people that really, really do that shit, they don't talk about it after. They do it, that's it. They're done. You would never, even if you asked them or you was there when they did it, they're still not going to talk about it to you. That's something that you do to yourself and you don't tell nobody. You shot somebody, you're not out there telling everybody. The fact that he tells me right there that he was probably like a little mama's boy in his, room, scared. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just.
But that's what they do.
It's just crazy, like how they reach out to us kids. Like,
well, they lie for a living. They got to lie to you to make you believe them, you know, to make you,
Oh yeah.
to install the fear. You know, well, oh, this guy was an
Oh
ex-gang
yeah,
member.
yeah.
Oh, I better not, piss him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just a tactic, is all it is.
Yeah. I better listen to him. Yeah. Yeah, scare tactics. I better listen to him. It's like when they bring the kids to like, scare beyond scared straight.
Yeah,
That's real. You know what I'm saying? You're really in jail, and you know what I'm saying? Like, you're real about.
yeah, exactly.
You're not gonna have some stupid staff member from Agape, some half a brain can't find nothing else to do for a career, so he flies out to Missouri and blows brother Brian to get a position. Preaching about shooting people and killing people. Like, you're not gonna have that shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, oh, it was just it was a weird type of thing.
What that guy needs to do, if he wants to show everybody that he was truthful about that statement, he needs to go to Los Angeles, go to the middle of an MS-13 neighborhood, get up on a soapbox, and talk about your MS-13 affiliation.
Not only that,
let's
but
see how
he should
long
get
he
over
lasts.
there in the middle. Yeah, he should go into the middle of the MS-13 neighborhood and tell them that he's the leader, that they need to listen to him. That's what he should do, and see how long he lasts. He
won't. He won't.
Yeah,
last very long.
I don't even think they would give him a chance to talk.
No, he wouldn't leave that.
I don't even think they would give him a chance to talk. Like, as soon as, nah.
Yeah.
But it's just crazy, like, how all the staff members were just like, just like, that was their thing. Oh, I was just like you when I was a kid. I did this and I did that, and I was just like you.
Yeah.
No, the fuck you weren't. You was not like me, because I'm sitting in this program. You never went through the program. You was not just like me. I was actually out there doing stuff to get sent to a program like this, where your dumbass has to fucking sit here and babysit me and restrain me and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not you were just like me. You probably grew up in a little picket white fence with a sweet little family with a silver spoon and stuff like that, and you were skunk. And so you had two options. You either wanted to become a cop so you could power trip on people, or when that failed because you were too stupid, you were like, I'm going to fly out to Missouri and power trip on a bunch of little 12-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? That's probably more like along the lines of their life.
Yeah.
That's probably more like most of the staff members there. So it's not, you're so tough. You're tough because you're in front of a 12-year-old. You're talking to a 12-year-old who's
already
not going to do anything back to you because you're 350 pounds.
Right. And he's already scared to begin with.
Huh?
I said the 12-year-old is already scared to begin with.
Yeah, he's in the middle of somewhere like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in the middle of where he's at. He's scared. He's by himself. He's around a bunch of other mad teens who are older than him. So he's already timid. Then you have up on one kid. It's like, you really have to gang up on a kid, that's not even, a fifth of your weight. And all these staff members were like 350 plus. Honestly, I don't even know why they were so fat. I think it's just laziness, which is, a sin, by the way, being slothfulness or whatever, being, lazy, and gluttony is a sin, which they don't care about that. They don't care about those sins. Gluttony, who cares? I'll eat 4 plates for dinner. You know what I'm saying? I'll be 400 pounds. That's okay. But, listen to your parents, that one, that's one you got to follow.
Well, Derek, it's not the food. It's their glands. They can't help it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
They got a gland problem.
Yeah. Yeah. They get it's funny because it's like they all had a pituitary gland problem. It's just like,
right?
I don't know. I don't know if it's the gland that's giving them the problem or something about, brother Brian or something. It's just like, like a bunch of women, like when they get together, all their periods sync up.
Yeah.
That's what it's like. You know, all their pituitary glands synced up, and they just all got fat at the same.
Actually, they have this
Bunch of
thing called fork and mouth disease, where they can't stop fucking eating. That's the problem.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You know, it's like that seafood diet. They see food and
That's
they
right.
eat it. You know, that's like one of those.
And I guarantee you, I can guarantee you they're
yeah,
not.
That's the problem they had.
I could guarantee you they're not eating peanut butter sandwiches. All right.
They're not eating the same shit as us too.
No.
They're eating McDonald's. They're eating. I forgot the one that I think it was Jack. They had something Jack in the Box or something. Something they had something that was out there. I know they were eating that stuff. They were.
Steaks.
You should see the hamburgers that they eat.
Steaks, all the rich food.
Steak, eggs.
Oh yeah.
Pancakes, shit with starches and all that shit. You know, they really pack it on.
Right.
And I think it's because, huh?
Well, and when they're eating all this food, they don't exercise, and they get the students, I guess if you want to call them that, to watch over all the other kids. That's free labor. You know what I mean? They don't have to do nothing. They'll just sit in their office and get fat. That's all they do. You know,
literally, their workout is watching us run. They literally watch us run and do all the work.
Yep.
They have us build everything over there. They have us any project that needs to be done over there. They don't hire labor. They don't do it themselves like real men would. Like you're 30 years old. You have a project to do. You have something to do. You got to sheetrock a wall. A real man does it. Nope. They have the kids do it because that's how much of men they are. You know what I'm saying? They're so tough and so such big men. They can't. They don't lift a finger for nothing. Most of the time, it's their wife's doing shit for them too. Their wife does this. You know what I'm saying? Like, they just sit back and just literally melt into their chair. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just such a lazy. It's crazy.
Lazy pieces of shit.
So yeah, we would. Yeah, literally just a lazy piece of shit, and we would do everything. We would. They would have like work groups that they would take us out. We would, maintain all the animals. By the way, the guy that used to do that, Brother Householder or whatever, I heard some shit about him that he was like doing some really disrespectful stuff to some of the women over there. I feel really bad about that. It's crazy because I know who he is, and he was You ever seen Wolf Creek, the movie? Mick Taylor, the serial killer guy?
No.
He was just like that tough SOB. Like,
well,
man, that's who Brother Householder reminded me of.
I've had Amanda, his daughter, on the podcast. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. He just was like always just angry, like mad, like just never smiled, never. And it's like, they always preach about the joy of the Lord. They have the joy of the Lord, and I have the light of the Lord. He never smiled once. Like, how can you say you're so happy and living for God and stuff like that, and you're just a miserable geriatric SOB? Like, literally, that's what he was. He was just an old son of a bitch. Like, he was just miserable. And he would take you out to do the animals and stuff like that. You would feed the horses and you would maintain everything. And they had work groups. So we would maintain the place, like, if you had to put AC units in, like the big industrial ones, like I've done that. Like literally just anything that needed to be in the place, like the kids did it. You know what I'm saying? Like the troubled teens did it. And they would disguise it as, oh, we're getting you ready for real world scenarios. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to learn a trade or something like that.
Yeah.
It's such bullshit. They don't want to do it themselves. They don't want to have to, get down and, install something or go and feed the animals or something. Literally, we should have been in school. You know what I mean? Like, which again, like that school is not even accredited. Like, the credits don't even transfer over. When I came home, I still had to go back to high school and get my diploma. Like, I was so far behind from going to Agape. I was further than if I just would have stayed home. You know what I'm saying? Like, even when I was skipping school and everything like that, I was passing some of my classes. I would at least had some credits. I went to Agape, and it was just like I literally just stayed at 9th grade. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Oh man.
I literally just had no credits.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to go back. I went to night school and got my high school diploma, but it was like literally starting all over. So, which is another thing that they tell the parents at Agape. You know, Brother Brian, he's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna come out of here with a good high school education. They're gonna have a diploma. That diploma is basically printed on a piece of toilet paper. Yeah. It's nothing. It doesn't mean a damn thing in the real world. Most places won't even take. You're going to like another, you know, a Baptist college or a college that's associated in that line of work or whatever.
Yeah.
Most colleges won't even take that diploma. Like, you can't even get in anywhere. So that's another thing. Like, if parents are watching this and stuff like that, like, just don't send your kids to Agape. There's so many other better ways, you know, therapy. If you want to spend a bunch of money, you know, on a babysitter that's going to beat your kids, you can find ones out here in the real world that will beat your kids for a lot cheaper, you know? So it's
you know, it would be cheaper.
I mean, if that's what the parents want.
Yeah. It would be cheaper for the family to go to, you know, a family counselor, have a couple of sessions or something, and find out what's wrong and deal with the situation. Instead of sending your kid to
what's wrong?
Yeah. Instead of sending your kid to a compound where he gets the shit beat out of him. That ain't gonna help. That makes it worse.
Or potentially like molested or something worse. You know what I'm saying? Like I was saying about that guy, Brother Householder or whatever. I don't even know why I keep saying brother in front of all their names. It's like it was beating it. Like, that's what we have to call them. You know what I'm saying? Brother this.
Indoctrination.
Brother that. But really, it's not brother. Yeah. Yeah, it's piece of shit Householder, piece of shit Brian Clemenson. That should be in front of their names, not brother. But that guy Householder, he was like molesting people, like molesting the girls and stuff like that. So, like, you know, that's the last place you want to send your kids, is to a place where they're gonna potentially be beat, molested, mistreated, not fed properly, you know, literally tortured and abused. Mentally too, like literally they treat you like you're nothing. And after a while of a year or 2 years of the mental torture, you ever see those documentaries where somebody gets kidnapped and oh man, I can't think of the name of the disease. They get kidnapped and then they start siding with their kidnapper.
Oh, Stockholm
They start
syndrome.
liking it there.
Stockholm syndrome.
Stockholm syndrome. Yep. Stockholm syndrome. Literally, it's like trying to, you know, make you get Stockholm syndrome. They beat you until, like, you know, you're submissive. And it's like, after a year or two of it, it's just like, you know, it's just so much. It's just so much to take in. It's just, crazy.
It almost becomes, you know, normal, basically.
Yeah. You wake up and you expect it. It's if it didn't happen, be a shock to me. Like, if I woke up and I, like, you know, they weren't beating the kids and they, you know, this isn't the program. So, like, it would be more of a shock if it didn't happen. That's how much, like, you know, they beat it into us. And, you know, you can't call a staff member, you know, without saying brother. If you said just their name, you would get in trouble. It's like, how fucking much, like, how big of a head do these people have? Like, how much do they think of themselves?
Right.
That you need a 12 or 13-year-old kid to, like, you know, praise you. Like, oh, brother, like, you're not doing anything special. You're not, like, ordained by the Pope. You're not, like, some, like, you know, you didn't go to college for this shit. And the ones that did were just as dumb as the ones that didn't. So it didn't do shit for them, the ones that went to college for this. Like, it's just, you know, how big of a head do you have that you need these, you know, little kids that are already tortured and mistreated and scared to, like, you know, make you feel good about yourself? How little of a man are you that you need little kids to like make you feel good about yourself? That's
So
horrible.
So tell us how
You
you
should
really
just kill yourself if you if
tell us how you really feel, Derek.
but that program, man. Sometimes I say like if I wish I could just go back and like just beat the shit out of a couple of them staff members, but I know I would go to jail, you know, because they're not really as tough as they say they are. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
if I really flew out there and you know, really like you know dislocated some of their jaws or something, then it would be like you know call the cops. But nobody calls the cops when the kids get their you know arm pulled out of socket.
Well, that's because the sheriff works there.
They pop it right back in right there. They don't even take them to the hospital. They'll yeah, Brian, his own damn mind. Yeah, but they have a little infirmary. You know, the infirmary. I got stitches in my pinky. I cut my pinky like you know really bad. While I was over there, it almost got like you know taken off. And they didn't take me to a hospital. They didn't do anything. They put like these little butterfly Band-Aid stitches on it. Like it didn't even do anything. Like the thing was like bleeding like profusely. And they just put these like little, I still have a scar here. You probably won't see it on the camera, but yeah, that was from Agape. They have a little infirmary. They take you to the infirmary. Like if they rough you up too bad and something happens to you and you get like really hurt, they take care of you in-house, which is they created the problem. They hurt you and now they're going to fix you. It makes no fucking sense. But
Yeah.
that's their good old Baptist mindset, you know?
So, how's your life?
So-
How's your life doing now, Derek? After Agape,
Every day I'm not in Agape, I'm 100% better. So my life is a lot better than when I was in there.
yeah.
So
Good way to put it. Good way. To put it.
I'm doing good. Yeah, I can't have a good life. You know, I have no kids, which is a good thing because all those years through Agape, I was like, I'm not having no kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was, you know, seeing all those crazy kids in there and what goes on and stuff like that. I mean, I know this. If I ever have kids, I would never do what my parents did to me because I know how I feel about it. And I know I would be 100% better parent, but I'm just, you know, I don't think I'm ever going to have kids because of all that shit. But anyways, I have a good life. You know, I live a good life. I'm still in Connecticut, having a better time than I was when I was 15 through 17. And it's just day by day, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good.
Yeah. I really don't have a relationship with my family like that. And I can't really say if it's because of Agape or really, I don't know. It's just like all my brother went his separate way. My sister went her separate way. Really don't talk. I really don't talk to my mom that much. I mean, I talk to her once in a while, but you know, she took off. She's in Florida, and I mean, most the main one I see is my father. You know, and I think the reason why he's been there so much for me is because I think he knows that, like, you know, that was the wrong move sending me to Agape. I think it's like I don't want to say guilt, but
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's like a weird relationship. You know what I'm saying? It's more of like not like a father-son relationship where it's like normal, you know, like it's more of like, damn, like, you know, we fucked our kid up. So now, you know, I gotta stay around because he's all fucked up now because I sent him to Agape.
Parents make mistakes, man. Parents make mistakes. So, you know, I'm a parent.
Nah, and it's not really their fault.
No.
It's not really their fault. They were tricked into it. You know what I'm saying? It's of the staff members' fault that were over there. They lied and deceived many parents into sending their kids there, and they, like I said, they polished it up, make it look real nice, but once you get through that facade, it's just a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, I do.
And
Just one of those things.
I
man.
really don't blame my parents, but you know, it's just a luck of the draw type of thing that I landed at Agape.
Yeah.
So, anyways, that was my story. That was my time at Agape.
All right.
So,
Okay. I'm going to go ahead. We'll end the podcast and stay on the line. I want to talk to you for a few seconds. So, all right. So, everybody.
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you for being on the podcast, Derek. It was very informative. Like I said, every story is like a piece of the puzzle. You know, I mean, some of the stories are the same, but there's little different parts that are variations that just kind of brings everything
Very
more
intricate.
Yes, more into perspective, and kind of paints a bigger picture about what's going on at that place. And for parents that are watching this, you know, they can watch it and go, "Oh, wow, I didn't hear it in the last podcast, but let's go to the next podcast and just check it out and keep going." And hopefully they don't need to do that. Yeah. What?
By the way, like you said, it's like a little piece of the puzzle each time, like a story is told. You never hear a story of, yeah, I had a good time. They treated me with respect. You never get one of those stories, which should tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, if 100 people tell you a story about Agape and 100 of them are just terrible, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not just like one or two people saying, oh, I had a bad time. You know, I may have missed a meal or two. You know what I'm saying? It's every person telling you how bad and terrible it is. Parents, do not send your kids to these places. So, I just wanted to put that little tidbit at the end, you know?
And the thing is, also, even if you had 99 people saying that it was bad and one person saying it was good, that's still not very good odds. It's not very good odds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Nah.
So,
hey, parents, if you want to spin the wheel and take a chance with your kid that they might be the one that has the good ride, hey, you know, then you're shitty parents, because if you want to, you know, play those odds with your kids, that's, you know, you're putting your child in the hands of literally just pathological, mentally not stable people.
Yeah. And incompetent too. So
incompetent. Yep. Very, very incompetent.
Sadistic. I mean, just the words we could use just goes on.
Yeah, the list goes on. Yeah.
So, but yeah, for anybody who's watching this, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. Every time you subscribe, you hit the notification. It all goes into the inbox, and the more people like the video, the more it gets spread around into people's channel pages, or their what do they call those? The pages where you open up YouTube and it comes your front page. So it shows up on there as well. Yeah. So, all right. So, everybody, for the Hammer Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself. You take care of each other, and have a great New Year. All right.
Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.